What's going on, guys? This is Brian from Advanced Mid Hockey Advising here, and today we'll be talking about everything that has to do with the NCAA D1 Scholarship and what you can do to increase your chances of getting one. Before we dive into things here, just a quick reminder to absolutely smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and share the video if you like the content. Also, if you want to talk to us about anything throughout this video, feel free to drop a comment down below or email us at info@ahadvising.com and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. And last quick reminder, like with all our videos, there will be timestamps throughout the video, so you can go ahead and click on a specific section to watch if you want to watch that, or you can just watch the entire video. It's completely up to you. Alright, so if you clicked on this video, chances are, getting an NCAA D1 scholarship is part of your goal, or you're a parent that has a son or a daughter that it's part of their goal as well. So, I know for a lot of people now, this is starting to become a really big trend. Like a lot of parents, a lot of players really want to have that NCAA D1 full scholarship. And I completely understand that, right? It makes sense. You want to go to school, kind of have hockey, pay your way through school. And from there, you're still, going to play the sport that you love, right? While you're in school. And to be honest, playing NCAA hockey is a great experience. So I understand the draw for that. That being said though, full ride NCAA D1 scholarships are very rare. They're very difficult to obtain. So you really have to make sure that you're a standout candidate for you to be able to get those. And that's the whole goal of this video here, is to kind of give you, the ins and outs, some guidelines that you can follow to really become that standout candidate and really increase or maximize your odds of getting that NCAA D1 full ride scholarship. All right, so guideline number one here is to invest in your athletic development as early as you can, right? From as young of an age as you can and as much as you can. It's really important, right? You really want to develop into this really great hockey player, because the better you are, the higher the chance that coaches are going to want you down the road. It's just as simple as that. And the younger you do it, the more time you have to develop, right? And also, NCAA coaches really start recruiting younger than you think. A lot of people think, like NCAA D1 scholarships are given at, 19 or 20. That's not really the case. That's the minority of them. The majority of scholarships, and just a pro tip here, a quick note, most NCAA D1 coaches start their recruiting process, as early as about 15 years old. Sometimes unofficially a little bit earlier, but, officially, the 15-year-old year, so your minor midget year when January 1st comes along, that's when they can start recruiting. So, it's really important, to be on a great team and to develop as much as you can and to be the best player that you can as young of an age as you can. That way these coaches see you, they see you for what you are, they see you as a standout player, and from there that really increases your odds of getting one of these coaches to love you and to offer you a scholarship down the road. All right, so guideline number two here is to have good grades. Now, I know you've been told this a bunch of times, and I know some of you might be thinking, wait a minute, we know, players that have gotten full athletic scholarships with subpar grades. I'm not gonna lie to you, it does happen, right? There are some exceptional players that you kind of get by with, pretty bad grades or decent grades or whatever, but they get in just because of their athletic abilities. Now, those are far and few between. There's very few that can do this. Most have to have the good grades to be able to get in. Only the exceptional few get in on athletic ability alone. You really have to focus on your grades. And my mindset is here that why shoot yourself in the foot with bad grades, right? That's just one extra thing the coach can look at and kind of, push you aside. Let's say you have two players of the same caliber that the coach is looking to give a scholarship to, and one has bad grades. Well, it makes it easy. They'll just take the other player with the good grades, right? And there's so many players out there that you do have a lot of competition for this, because everybody wants a full athletic scholarship. Like, kind of letting bad grades shoot you in the foot is just not a great idea. Just get good grades. It makes it a lot simpler for you. Just focus. If you're still in high school right now and you have the ability to do it, get the best grades that you possibly can, and trust me, it will help you down the road, and it will increase your odds overall for a coach to have a higher market value for you. So definitely just get good grades. All right, so guideline number three here is to strive to play in the best possible programs that you can. Where you play does matter. Whoever tells you otherwise is lying. Coaches, the first thing they look at is your elite prospects to see where you play. That's just a fact. So where you play does matter. I would say where it starts really mattering, when you're young and Atom or Pee Wee, that doesn't really matter. It does start to matter, around minor bantam, but more so major bantam. And here's why: because coaches officially can start recruiting and talking to players January 1st of their minor midget year. That being said though, where you play major bantam, for a few reasons it's important. Where you play major bantam will usually determine where you play minor midget, right? If you play on the top major bantam team, good chances that if you're a good player in that program, you're going to move on to the minor midget, you're going to play for that same top tier team, right? So that really does help in that sense. But also NCAA coaches start looking at major bantam players as well. They can't talk to them, but they can look at them, and they can also talk to their advisors and their coaches and all that unofficially. So that's one thing to keep in mind. So where you play major bantam does really make a big difference. Now, that being said, I don't want you guys to think if you're not playing for the top tier major bantam team in the country that you're, forever destined not to get an NCAA D1 athletic scholarship. No, that's not the case. It just increases your odds. But there are other routes you can go. For example, if you don't make that team, if you're able to, try and find another, major bantam or even minor midget team when it gets to that. That's a top tier team. If those aren't the right options, you can also explore some top prep options as well. If you go on myhockeyrankings.com, it'll give you, the nice list of all the top prep programs in order, right? Now, obviously it's a bit subjective, that list, but overall it gives you a good guide, right? And then once you move on to junior hockey, junior hockey is a bit different because most NCAA D1 full ride athletic scholarships are given, in the minor hockey stages, either prep or, minor midget or, someone like that around 16 years old or so. But if you do go, in the junior realm, use the rankings video that we made to rank the best junior leagues to go play NCAA hockey. There's going to be a link up in the corner here. You can go and click on that. That'll give you a nice idea of the leagues to kind of go to. I would say if your goal is to get recruited, you can absolutely dip no less than the SJHL if you want to go NCAA D1 hockey, let alone get a full ride. I would say, definitely don't dip anywhere below that, or it just probably won't be possible, but I would say try and aim for as high of a league as you can in that sense. But last thing I want you to keep in mind, like I said, NCAA coaches, they start the recruiting process early, and the main bulk of their scholarships is given at the minor hockey level when players are still in minor hockey. Once it's given, then they go play juniors, either in the USHL or something like that, and then they go play NCAA D1. So keep that in mind. But if you are going on the junior side of things, no less than the SJHL if NCAA D1 is your goal. And guideline number 4 here is to start reaching out to NCAA coaches early. Now, like we said before, there is a rule in place where you can't do it yourself until January 1st of your 15-year-old year, right? That's just a rule. Coaches can't reach out to you before that. But, you can even have, your coach or an advisor, if you're a really elite player and, you have a good chance of NCAA D1 full scholarship, have your advisor or coach, they can even reach out to them just to, start talking to them, start the conversation. And then once January 1st rolls around, they at least know your name and all that stuff. So that's an option too. But again, start reaching out early. It's really important. You can either have, a coach, an advisor, you can even do it yourself. I would say though, personal opinion, and I guess I am biased because I am an advisor myself, but it is more advantageous for a coach or an advisor to reach out than the player himself for a few reasons, and here they are. So first of all, coaches and advisors know how to communicate with NCAA coaches in an effective and professional manner, right? They won't boss you emails, they won't make spelling mistakes, they know how it's done, they've done it, it's what they do, so that's one thing. It's gonna be much more professional in that sense. Second thing, they just have the connection with the coaches, right? They know the coaches that much better. The NCAA coaches trust them, if they're a good advisor or a good coach. So it's a much higher chance that they'll reply to them rather than if you're like a 14 or 15-year-old, there's less chance that a coach might reply to you, unless you're an exceptional player, of course. But again, it's good to err on the side of caution, to have someone with the connections, with the trust built up with the coaches, reach out for you. Another reason, like we mentioned before, is that there is this loophole where advisors and coaches can start talking to the NCAA coaches, before the January 1st kind of deadline in a sense. So that's a huge plus to just start getting your name out there. And then last but not least, and this one's more important than some people think, it saves you a lot of time, right? If an advisor or coach reaches out for you, you might not realize this, but looking up contact information, reaching out to coaches, crafting the emails and all that, and hearing back and going back and forth, it takes a lot of time. And that's what, advisors are paid to do. And that's what, great coaches that, pride themselves on moving players on, that's what they put the extra time and energy to do. So it really does take a lot of time. And, it's something that if you want to save your time and save your energy and focus on just being the best player you can on the ice and being the best student you can in the classroom, it's an option that you could pursue for that reason as well. But overall, I would say there is a big advantage to using an advisor or coach to reach out to coaches for you. All right, so I know a good chunk of you aren't convinced by that. You're like, nope, I am saving my money. I'm gonna do this myself. I wanna do this myself. If that's you, that's totally fine. And I wanna give you a few guidelines to kind of follow just to make sure you do it right. First and foremost on this, make sure you keep it professional, right? Really, really make it professional. Make it sound nice, make it look nice, no spelling mistakes. Just make it look good and it not all botched, right? You want a good first impression when you're reaching out to these coaches. Make sure it's to the T, and have, if you don't want an advisor doing it for you or a coach doing it for you, have them proofread it at least, right? Just so it sounds good. The second and last big tip I can give you here is to keep it as concise as possible, right? Now by concise, I don't mean write a sentence and that's it, right? Put all the relevant info that you need to, but really make it look nice. So, typically how I do, I say, coach, whatever the coach's last name is, say who you are, where you're from, and how you're interested in playing in their program, right? Something like that to start, and then say, here are my relevant stats or my relevant info. And then from there, you're gonna put, your birth year, the team you played for, so where you played, your position, right? And the type of player you are. You can put any awards or accolades that you have, like Star of the Week or whatever, but really make sure it's relevant things and not just some awards that don't really matter, right? Make sure it's good awards. If you're getting drafted in major junior, something like that, that'd be important. You can put something like that, right? After that, you're gonna wanna put your elite prospects link. This is really important. Put it there, it saves them time, right? And they're gonna appreciate that you do that. And then last but not least, put a highlight video. Again, we touched on it in past videos. Highlight videos are super important. Put your highlight video link and that'll let them, kind of get a teaser of how you play. So I would say keep it as short and sweet as possible and nice and concise and put all that relevant info and you'll be good to go. All right, so we just went over a ton of information here, so I want to recap the absolute main points that you need to remember from this video. First and foremost, I would say you need to be a really standout candidate, a great hockey player, and a good student to get NCAA D1 full ride. And second, we talked about the guidelines that you can follow to increase your chances of getting that full ride, which are: 1, heavily investing in your athletic development as early as possible and as much as possible. 2, focusing on getting great grades in school. 3, playing for the absolute best programs that you possibly can. And 4, reaching out to NCAA coaches as early as you can. All right, guys, that is it for the video. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did and you haven't already, feel free to absolutely smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and share the video. And if you thought about any questions throughout this video or have anything that you want to talk to us about, feel free to drop a comment down below. Or if you want to talk to us privately, you can email us at info@ahadvising.com and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Also, if you want to check out more about us, if you want to look at our, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, website, newsletter, anything like that, there's a link down in the